Monte Vista is a high-performing school with stellar API scores in Cupertino, California. Students here see school as a very important thing in their lives. They dedicate many hours every day to doing homework, studying for tests, contacting their teachers for help, and doing anything that will help them to succeed in school. They take on rigorous course loads and participate in many extracurricular activities outside of school.
Recently, a study of kids from high-performing high schools in California reported that 70% of the students are often or always feel stressed by their schoolwork, while 65% of all students reported often or always worrying about such things such as grades.
Teenagers need 9.25 hours of sleep per night, but most students here at MV only get an average of 4 to 6 hours, as 25% get 6 hours or less.
How can we resolve this issue so that students have a comfortable life in high school?
Our group came up with the solution of a mandatory tutorial. A mandatory tutorial is another tutorial put between periods 1 and 2 or periods 2 and 3.
This mandatory tutorial will allow students to catch up on homework and study for tests. Also, it'll give students more time for extracurriculars and sleep. This interview is from Janae Sakas, a student from Monte Vista High School.
Janae feels that tutorials are really helpful because teachers are all in their classrooms at one time, and students can go and ask their teachers questions. Janae thinks tutorials are very convenient because there have been a couple times where she had to ask questions from her teachers. Unfortunately, she wouldn't be able to find her teachers. Aside from that, Janae sees tutorials as useful, especially on Thursdays, since she has a lot of homework to complete on Wednesday and Thursday nights. When Janae was asked what she did during tutorial, she said that she used tutorials to ask her teachers questions from previous tests and homework assignments. Janae believes tutorials benefit her as she is a member of the Spanish.
At Homestead, we have 4 tutorials, meaning you can ask 4 different teachers questions throughout the week about any questions you have. Having this many tutorials make most days follow a set schedule, not a complex schedule like, say, Cupertino High School, which has 3 distinct schedules, while we virtually only have 2. Having 4 tutorials also equate to 2 hours of extra work time a week, something that is definitely needed in a highly competitive school.
However, there's a downside to having a mandatory tutorial. According to our
So, if students use tutorial wastefully, then what is the point of a mandatory tutorial?
Although some students do use tutorial to waste time, most students spend their time wisely and do their work. This can be successful for students who use their time correctly and wisely.
For example, our poll found that 55% of students use tutorial time for finishing up homework.
students also use the time to study for tests. This tutorial time makes up for the lost time at home by giving students an allocated time to complete their work. Here's Mrs. Belshy's opinion about having more tutorials.
I think it definitely could help, particularly with lessening some of the stress from time constraints, with being able to know there is set time to meet with teachers.
This can benefit students significantly because mandatory tutorial can give students a chance to bring in high.
The mandatory tutorial can also give students a better attitude towards school.
This can also benefit the Cupertino community as well. It can raise Monte Vista High School's academic status.
More people will begin to move here, thus turning Cupertino into a flourishing city.
This whole idea is a chain reaction where all parts of community benefit from the idea of more tutorials.
By implementing more tutorials, we participate in developing for the betterment of society.
Having more tutorials is essential to a common student. This can help many students by giving them allocated time to do work or study. We live only once, and we must live that life to the fullest. We do not want to live non-daring lives.
With both extracurriculars and education in our lives, we produce driven passion.
Little drops of water create an ocean. With these little drops of change, we can create an ocean of betterment for society by implementing more tutorials.